On the program today, our conversation is going to be on how to attract foreign direct investment into Nigeria. We know that there's been an increase of this, but how can we continue to sustain it, and how can we utilize it to ensure growth and development of the economy? Well, I'm being joined in the studios by two gentlemen. Dr. Bongo Adi, he's a Senior Research Fellow, Center for Infrastructure, Policy, Regulation and Advancement of the Lagos Business School. Good morning, Dr. Adi, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And to my immediate left is Mike Adele. He's a Human Capital Development Expert. Thank you so much for joining us as well, Mike.
A pleasure.
Well, just before we start this conversation, on Monday, when there was a media launch of the World Economic Forum, by the financial world, led by the coordinating minister for the economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to highlight what we should be expecting next year when the World Economic Forum will actually hold in Africa, here in Nigeria. She actually spoke about the fact that foreign direct investment to Nigeria in the last 3 years has improved by 20 billion naira. Yeah. But let's listen to that report, and we'll come back for more on this morning.
In recent times, insecurity in the northeastern part of the country has been a subject of concern, especially how it affects foreign direct investment into the country. But the Minister of Finance has given assurance that foreign direct investment into the country has risen in the last 3 years.
Whilst people may be talking of these security challenges, investors are seeing something totally different. Number one, the country's economy was assessed by very independent agencies that assess all countries' performance, namely Fitch and Standard & Poor, and they maintain the country's stable rating. And the discussion, if you read their literature, was also quite positive. They acknowledged all the challenges, the challenge of security in the Northeast, but they know that this is just one part of the country, and the investment is going in. So my answer to you is that investment in other parts of the North can and do take place, and the investment in the rest of Nigeria is taking place. This is the largest destination for investment on the continent.
In spite of the success, the minister said Nigeria is confronted with the challenge of how to convert its vast human and natural resources in improving the lives of its people.
We recognize that there are challenges to the economic development here in the country, and those two challenges, the twin challenges, are the challenges of creating jobs and dealing with unemployment, because even though we are growing, we are creating jobs, but not fast enough. We need to create jobs faster.
With an improved political stability and economic outlook, such as single-digit inflation rate, Nigeria's hosting of the World Economic Forum is expected to showcase the nation's vast natural resources for investment to members of the international community.
Well, that's going to be the focus of our conversation. So, gentlemen, you heard what she said. Well, she believes that it's going to improve since we have as much as $20 billion, thereabouts, coming into the country in the last 3 years. Is this anything to cheer about?
Thank you very much. I think based on the statement that she made, the country is progressing. And in the last 3 years, according to what she said, and according to the statistics, about 20 billion came to the country as a direct investment from foreign investors. But what we should look into critically is to see where is this money actually going into, because I can't feel it, and I don't think you can feel it either. Because if I look into that figure, majority of that money, and true and honestly, that money came in, but majority of that money is going toward the capital markets. Okay, and obviously, if I'm a businessman coming into the country, I want to make money from my investments. So obviously, I'm going to look into where is very lucrative for me to make that money. And thankfully, our capital market is doing very good. So people want to bring in that money on a short-term basis, short-termism, and make their money back. So, but that money, I personally think it should be going into sectors like manufacturing, agricultural, education, but there are mechanisms or there are issues that's actually hindering people from investing in those sectors, which the government needs to look into.
Well, Dr. Adi, do you agree that it's just the capital market that we see more of foreign direct investment coming into?
Yes, I agree very much with that. In talking about foreign direct investment, what the minister didn't quite specify is whether it's just foreign portfolio investment or direct investment, because we need to make such distinctions. Like my colleague mentioned, a lot of the investment has been in the capital market, and that's just nominal growth. So if you're having nominal growth without growth in the real sector, you can't actually say that you've had growth, and that is why you and I can't feel very much the impact of the investment boost that the coordinating minister is referring to.
Yeah, but then we also know that there's more of foreign direct investment in the oil and gas industry as well, not just the capital market.
Definitely, that's what we are going to come in, because we to comment on, because we need to disaggregate, sectorialize the investment pattern. When we look at it, it's still the traditional oil and gas driven investment. So we are still a monocultural economy, and when you have investment being channeled only into one sector, of course it has problems as far as equity and distributional consequences.
So in other words, it can negatively affect the economy?
Yes, definitely.
So what particular sectors are we going to be looking at? Because we've mentioned that when these investments do come in, they're going to the capital market, they're going to the oil and gas industry, and then just like you mentioned, Mike, the very critical sectors which should be growing the economy, manufacturing, agriculture, the non-oil sector, generally are suffering as a result of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, every investor is a businessman, and they have to make return on their investments. So if I'm going to put in my money into an environment and to make substantial or nominal return on my investment, I have to make sure that the environment is conducive for me.
Okay.
The government policies are actually conducive as well. That is where we need to look into our legislative arm of government, our judicial sector as well, because there must be laws to protect.
So are there enough fiscal incentives to actually encourage the flow of foreign direct investment?
Well, incentive is one, the policy is another one.
Okay.
If the policies are not right, the incentive is not going to equate to the...
And I very much agree with him.
Yeah.
Actually, for every one investment that comes in here, there are about 5 that didn't come.
Yeah.
Simply because of the policy and operating environment of business. And if you interact with businessmen who would want to invest, investors who are keen about Africa and Nigeria in particular, what usually scares them away is the level of policy inconsistency and, of course, high-level government corruption.
Yeah.
I mean, even Nigerians who are doing business very much understand this.
Oh, but then, the minister actually said that most of these CEOs and the rest of them who are going to be coming in for the World Economic Forum would not probably have been encouraged to try to bring their businesses in if there wasn't something that Nigeria was doing right.
Yeah, we need to get the facts right. What are the determinants of foreign direct investment? Let's look at the determinants. Let's look at gravity. We have a very huge economy, okay, of 168 million people, or if not more. Okay, so that is the largest market in Africa, and it's a very vibrant one at that. So who wouldn't want to take advantage of it? And moreover, you know that they hire the risk, they hire the returns on investment. So that's why people are scampering for the Nigerian market, not because we are doing a lot of things right. Like I said, for every one investment you receive, there are 5 that fly away.
Well, let's talk about the Naira now. How much does foreign direct investment affect our local currency?
It depends. I mean, we're looking at the exchange rate here. If you have stable exchange rates, of course, it's going to attract investment in the short term. Okay, but will it? Of course, if we have investment in the real sector, that will increase productivity, and as productivity increases and export increases, that definitely is going to buoy up the exchange rate. And when that happens, yes, that's some sort of benefit for the local producers.